Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Well, there's some folks on social media that are doing this prank where you convince a little kid that you can turn them invisible. This is what smartphone technology will do for you. The setup is that you take a picture ahead of time with an empty chair. Then, of course, later you put that kid in the same chair, and while they're sitting in it, you go, "Dude, you're invisible, man. I'm going to take a picture." And then, of course, you show them the previous picture of the empty chair, and the kid's like, "Whoa!"
And they're too young to realize that you've already had this all set up. Okay,
yeah, that's what it is. So here's how it sounds, by the way.
Hold it still as you can. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh! Holy cow!
Oh my gosh! Ava, where are you? Oh my gosh!
Dude, I can hear it.
this is terrible.
This kid doesn't look like he's that young. How old is that kid looks like it could be at least 6 or 7.
Old enough to know.
Yeah, come on.
It just proves one thing for me, in my opinion, is that you can screw with little kids and drunk people the exact same way. I think you could pull this on a drunk person, and it would be awesome.
You're right. You could pull this on a drunk person.
I don't know which came first, but there's a new Netflix show called
Which came first? How about First, Danny?
That too.
All right.
It's called Magic for Humans on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a magician who does kind of these things, and it was viral a couple weeks ago. This was like his trailer. So I don't know if he got the idea from the prank or the prank got the idea from him.
He did a kid's invisible thing?
But he does it to adults, and they freak out just as bad as the kids do.
Well, those adults are just morons.
Really, though.
On.
But see, hold on a second, because there's another show called The Cabanero Effect, and I bet it's very similar, because he does the same thing where he set up a fake mirror, and it is pretty amazing, because the mirror itself, you don't see your own reflection, because he basically did a whole painting that looked like the room without the guy in it.
Well, at least with that's a nice, elaborate setup. I mean,
so that's what I'm thinking that probably the Magic for Humans guy does, too.
Probably. He does it sitting in the chair, he makes them disappear, and then he has, like, photos, and he has people set up, so that way everyone is like, "Oh, where did they go?" And then he like leaves to go take a cell phone call, and the people are like freaking out, like, "I'm really invisible. I don't know what's happening."
Why wouldn't they just look at their own body and see that they're visible, because they can see themselves?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the first thing I would do.
You're trying to make sense of morons. Yeah. I mean, really,
You're right.
At that point. Even one person says, it's funnier when grown-ass men, because like what Danny said, there's a magic show on Netflix that it started with. So this section thinks it started with the magic show. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because I think a lot of folks are watching Netflix more than this Cabanero guy. But the Cabanero guy told them basically you don't have a reflection, so you must be like a ghost or something. So that's why you could still see yourself like a vampire, but you wouldn't see yourself in a mirror. That, to me, at least, I would go, all right, I can't prove that this isn't real. As opposed to the invisible part, it's like, well, I can see me. Why can't you see me?
Well, yeah, it's still this whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Cabanero does some good stuff, though. He really messes with people.
I've seen the show. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't like it as much as I do. My wife and I love that show.
We tried watching it. Maybe we just picked a bad episode, but it was okay. And I love magic, so I was really excited about it. So
yeah, I got to watch this Magic for Humans, though. Danny's talking about that's in our queue, Danny.
All right,
but I got to watch it with my wife. So
And then you can pull the prank on her.
Yeah, that'd be so great.
I know people do it with dogs, too. They kind of do the same thing, but they set up like a sheet. You hold the sheet by your doorway, and then you drop the like you show yourself to the dog, then you pull the sheet up, then you drop the sheet, and you move out of the doorway. So now you've, quote-unquote, disappeared.
Oh.
And then there's that moment of, what the hell? I don't know if the dog's actually saying that, but
What's
it looks
going
like
on?
Hey. I don't know why he's Yogi Bear.
What the hell, Rorge?
Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Where's the human?
Yeah, that's, where's the human?
Man, people are just messing with people left and right.
Yeah, they do. I mean, and the kid's not happy about it. I just don't know how this does for a kid's psyche. Because the kid is really feeling it like, oh my God, this is a beating.
And there's a whole family in that room, too.
Yeah.
There was like 10 people.
I don't know. I felt like I got made fun of a lot, like by my family, like even extended family. That was just kind of a thing you got to do.
You saying you turned out okay?
Well, I'm here with you guys, so I mean, are any of us okay?
That's what
Now you work somewhere where everyone goofs on you, too.
Right,
And
exactly.
we all goof on each other. That's just you, obviously.
And I think it works.
Yeah, you do.
I think that just means family and love.
I think families always are pulling pranks on somebody. I mean, it's probably a good thing they didn't have secret cameras or things when my family members were pulling pranks on me. I'll never forget my Uncle Ben. His fun prank was punch my hand. And he's like, okay, harder. And he's a guy that wore he was like one of those guys wore all the rings on his fingers, right? So at some point when I'm finally just really racking it, like just throwing my hands as hard as possible into the palm of his hand, he quickly, as I'm about to throw the next punch, just turns him into a fist. And now I punch his fist with all those rings. And it hurts. And then I'm crying. And he's laughing. He's an awful drunk, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I threw that in there.
Pick it up, Uncle Sam.
So now he's laughing because he thinks it's so funny that he just wrecked my knuckles. My father finds out. Next thing you know, the two of them are fighting in the house.
Oh, lovely.
Where's the video cameras for awesome stuff like that, BJ?
That would be so awesome.
All right, you win, because the worst that I ever had was my grandpa's like, look, I have a secret. Like, it's only you. I need to tell you. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And he'd come in and start doing this right in your ear, and it is the worst feeling in your ear to have spit just all up in there.
Gross.
So every time, I fall for it every time. I'm like, oh, yeah, secret.
All right, mental note. Next time we're out drinking at one of our radio conventions and Vicky's drunk, we all have to tell her a secret.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm going to make sure to wear my rings and be like, Steve, check this out. I could take a punch in my hand. Punch my hand.
Okay.
Okay, man.
Yeah, you two guys are going to be at a party. I can't wait.
Woo!
Yeah.
And then we'll just make Danny disappear.
Yep.
Hey, that's mean.
You know you're going to try it on your daughter.
That's probably true, actually.
Yeah.
Can you?
And you'll do a video, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, make a video of it.
Please do it.
I'll try.
I hope she's smart enough to go, Dad, what are you, an idiot?
Probably.
Everybody's doing this on the internet.
That'd be
Dad.
awesome.
Yeah, that would be great.
She watches more Netflix than I do. So.
Yeah, I want you to try it on her because I bet she'll be like, Dad, you are such an idiot. I got a crazy story about a woman that pulled her car over to take a nap and then woke up to a stranger driving. Wow. Steve's got the news for you at 6:17.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
Well, he's no Pulitzer Prize winner. Hell, he can't even pronounce Pulitzer. This is News with Steve Miggs.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks to Kia Up You All for giving us news and sports, and it's a beautiful day today.
What's that, buddy?
National Bald is Beautiful Day.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is.
That's right. Thanks, Rev.
That's propaganda.
The Bald Brothers unite, and sisters,
Yeah, that's right. We do got some bald sisters out there.
and hairless animals.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, my
Come
dog.
on, man. We can't be, we got to be inclusive for everyone, Rev.
bald. They're hairless. There's a difference.
They're bald.
Are we having this conversation?
We
really?
shouldn't.
He's such an idiot.
It's also Fortune Cookie Day, so happy National
ooh,
Fortune
nice.
Cookie Day. Go get a fortune cookie, and then you can open it up and get nice comments like, the real kindness comes from within.
Yeah, I don't like those fortunes.
How about this one? All things are difficult before they are easy.
Oh, all right.
And my favorite, and actually this one is pretty awesome. Great words to live by. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese.
Oh, because the first mouse is dead.
It's dead.
Yeah,
That
nice.
seems like a
one.
nice fortune to throw out
I
there.
like
but
this. I like that fortune.
That's the best fortune ever. And then you can always add in bed. Isn't that what people do?
Oh, that's what they do, right?
So
yeah,
the
in
second
bed.
mouse gets the cheese in bed.
Okay,
Weird.
that's good.
Real kindness comes from within in bed.
That's true.
Nice. Let's talk about this lady who was, not in bed. She was in her car and decided to take a nap. She was driving down the freeway in South Carolina. She started to feel the symptoms of epilepsy. So she's like, you know what? I should pull off the side of the road to avoid anything bad happening. She pulled into a Black Angus steakhouse. Instead of going inside and getting a delicious steak, she lied in the back of her car to sleep it off, take a nap. She turned the vehicle off. She put the keys on the floorboard, but she couldn't remember if she locked the doors. And then she went and fell asleep. She woke up and she noticed that the car was moving. There was a woman driving the vehicle and a man in the passenger seat.
Oh, no.
She didn't even recognize these two people, so it was just two random people that saw probably the keys in the bottom of the floor and said, let's take this car for a joyride. So she wakes up, and then the suspect backed into another vehicle. They tried to bribe the owner of the car, but then they got out of the car and ran off.
Jeez, man.
How weird is that?
That is so weird. What is that? What is with people, man? Who does that?
Weirdos, man.
Yeah.
There's also weirdos in Florida. I know this comes as a shock, but there's a 25-year-old man by the name of Seth.
Yeah.
Cops pulled him over because he was driving up and down the boulevard, and they noticed, hey, what's going on with this? He looks like he's swerving. Turns out he was drunk.
Of course.
Driving 3 times the legal limit, so they arrested him.
Yeah.
As they were taking him to jail, he asked the cops to put on some music. And they're like, yeah, man, we're not going to do that. So he's like, all right, well, then I'm going to create some music for myself. And he started singing Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Oh, great.
So anyways, he was arrested, not for his bad singing, but for DUI.
Oh, man.
I only bring this up because it doesn't compare. First of all, I wish they had the audio of this. I'm sure it'll come out at some point, and we'll be sure to play it.
I want to hear that dude doing his Don't Stop.
But I doubt it compares to the guy that started singing Pearl Jam. I don't know if you ever watched that A&E show, Live PD.
Oh, yeah.
Well, last year they had a guy on there, and as he's being arrested, his face is bloody. He just decides, I'm going to sing some Pearl Jam.
Oh, really?
We have the audio of that.
Why you guys filming my ass? I don't want to shove off. This ain't kitty corner. You guys want to hear a song? Freezing, rest his head on a pillow made of concrete.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. That's called Pearl Jam. You ever see Pearl Jam live? You ever see He's the baddest Pearl Jam? Oh, he's my religion, man. He's my religion. Hey, tear it down. Tear it down. Tear down my shirt. Show tear my back off. Oh, no, I'm dead serious. You can't do it. You got to make it better, man. Live or die, man. Live or die, right, bro? Yeah, right on, bro.
Live or die, baby.
That's my religion.
That's his religion.
Oh, Live or Die is his religion?
No, I think Pearl Jam.
Ah.
And at one point, I think he thought Pearl Jam was just one guy. That's my guy, Pearl Jam.
That's my guy, Pearl Jam.
And when he kept saying, tear my shirt, tear my back off, I think he had a Pearl Jam tattoo that he was trying to show the cops.
Oh.
And they're like, yeah, man, that's cool. We believe you.
I wasn't sure why he was saying that. Ah, it makes sense.
And I think he said he saw Pearl Jam about 6 or 7 times. I mean, if you can't, that has to be the greatest ringing endorsement for the music of Pearl Jam right there.
I got to tell you, Pearl Jam right now should make that guy a poster child.
BJ, I don't know if you were watching the TV yesterday and you saw your Seattle Storm win the championship, baby.
I did watch the post-game interviews and the highlights.
You didn't watch the game?
I almost watched the game.
Come on, man.
But
You're the biggest fan of our show.
I really am. And I forgot that yesterday was the game. They could clinch
No,
yesterday.
you didn't.
I did. And then I happened to just be skipping around and I saw all the interviews. And then I watched, of course, I stayed, and they showed highlights of the game. So I saw the highlights and I saw the interviews.
Well, then keep Sunday open, man, because that's going to be the big victory parade.
Oh, that's a big parade.
The championship parade is going to start at 1 p.m. It's going to end up at the Key Arena. But yeah, they won yesterday. They swept the Washington Mystics. They beat them 98-82 in the Game 3 of the Best of 5 series.
How about that?
And Brianna Stewart, MVP.
Yeah, everyone says Stewie's amazing.
She was, incredible, man. Great game. And great to see Sue Bird win another championship as well. 3 WNBA titles.
I mean, seriously, the last one, she won the first one way back in 2004?
You do know better than me. 2004 in 2010.
Yeah, that's amazing to win a championship in 2004 and then win another one in 2018. To still be playing at that competitive
37 years old and
Good
still
for
doing
Sue
it.
Bird.
10 points, 10 assists in the game as well. Pretty damn awesome. And it's besides Sue, who, I said it's a relatively young team. So, I mean, they could possibly be doing this more and more in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, and Sue Bird had to endure some recent seasons where they were not good. I mean, that's how they got Brianna Stewart in the first place, from what I understand. They got a good draft pick to get her.
Yeah.
So good for Sue that she stuck with the team when they were bad. They
were damn awesome.
Yeah, so, and she gets a championship payoff for that.
And Mariners on the other end, they lost.
Yeah, there you go.
5-4. Almost made it a game at the end.
Swept. The season series swept by the Padres. How bad is that?
What do they call it? The Eddie Vedder Cup? Because because he's from San Diego, but spends time obviously in Seattle because of the Mariners.
Yeah, Cup goes to San Diego this year.
Solid sweep by them, huh? And up next, the Angels.
Doesn't matter. Such a disappointment. I mean, really, they can't beat the Padres. At that point, you go, guys, they should just start playing all the rookies right now.
Well, they're going to be in Los Angeles. If you want to watch the game, it's on Root Sports tonight at 7 o'clock. Go Mariners. There's still hope, right?
Remember I told you that we should have been sellers instead of buyers?
We're not going to do the told you so crap, man. I still believe in them.
Oh, please.
Not this year, but next year they're going to win the World Series. You heard it here first.
Oh, is that what you heard? Okay.
Start it now.
You might as well, because you're going to be right one of these years.
And then I could be the I told everybody.
I told everybody 15 seasons in a row. I told everybody.
Let's make the playoffs once, guys.
Playoffs?
Come on. As far as weather, 65 degrees and rain, and thank you, Colorado State University Global Campus.
I have to say, man, going back to the Storm, it is interesting because of there was talk about the fact that women's basketball players weren't paid as much as men's basketball players, and they're looking into that. And you and I have talked about that. It could not be about sexism, but more about the fact that, look, women's basketball just doesn't generate the kind of money the NBA does.
Yeah.
And right now, it's still not generating the kind of talk. I have a flash briefing that I do on my Amazon Echo every morning where I have AP News put in there. I have an ESPN sports update. None of them mention the Storm winning the championship.
Yeah.
That's that. Now, the ESPN surprised me. I thought they'd give it a mention. Instead, they, talk about some stupid ball game that, I know the baseball playoffs are a big thing, but they're not here yet. And I know the division battles are a big thing, but gosh, you don't mention that the Storm at least won their championship with a sweep, and that, Sue Bird, incredible accomplishment for a 37-year-old player in any sport.
I mean, it's on their homepage at least. But you got to scroll for a second to get to the Storm stuff. But I mean, look, man, I'm looking at the texts, and based on our texts that we're getting, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's just there's still a lot of people that don't care about women's sports, and I think really the only women's sports that people pay attention to is tennis.
And honestly, I don't know why anybody pays attention to tennis. I find that sport ridiculous. And
it's a beautiful sport, man.
Oh, and the controversy about somebody yelling at somebody because they're upset about something. I don't understand why that in golf, it irritates me. It's like every other sport, a guy and a girl gets to get mad when they feel like they've been cheated by the ref, the umpire, or whatever. Not tennis. If you raise your voice, you're a bad guy. And I'm like, what are you?
Inside voices, BJ. Yeah. Inside voices.
Yeah, I don't. Any sport that says you can't yell at a ref once in a while, I'm sorry. I don't got time for that. But
in fact, on the flip side, though, I'm looking at all the local news sites from the Q13s to the Comos, and it's one of the top stories. So
I don't got a problem with Seattle.
That's nice to see.
Yeah, and look, I used to be one of those guys that said, hey, women's basketball, are you kidding me? But I did watch a couple of games in the playoffs, and I have to tell you something, and watching the highlights last night, I don't know the difference between men's basketball and women's basketball.
Dunking.
It's like well, there are some women up there that are dunking now. They're just going up there just doing a great job. So
nice.
Yeah, but you're right. For the most part, maybe that's it. But as far as people taking the outside shots that they're taking, the 3-point shots, I couldn't do that. People do, sinking the free throws at a good percentage. I think that it's an entertaining game now. But before I didn't think it was, but now, and I think people like Breanna Stewart. I mean, she's just ridiculous how good she is.
Well, it's only going to get better the more it becomes popular. More young women are going to want to start learning how to play the game. Then all of a sudden, the level of play goes up because you have more people doing it, and the skill level is going to improve. So,
well, you've seen an example of that night. Last night, Bree Stewart, the Stewie, was saying,
"Look at you calling her Stewie."
That's what everybody calls her.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can tell you guys are homies.
We're homies now, Stewie and Birdie.
Yeah, Stewie, Birdie, and BJ.
But Stewie was
the new
talking
law firm coming to Seattle.
Stewie, Birdie, and BJ. But Stewie was saying she grew up watching Sue Bird, so like the ability to not only play in the same team with her, but win a championship with her. I mean, Breanna was like, "That's pretty awesome."
Yeah, he was a legend.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, they're young girls growing up and seeing people like Sue Bird going, you know what, I want to do that. And there's some quality players in the WNBA, at least, as opposed to when I watched them when they first started. Which makes sense with any league when you think about it.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get to the level of the NBA. But I mean, I think people are starting to realize it's a fun product to check out. Because I mean, I enjoy watching I view it almost like in the same sense like minor league sports too. Like I enjoy watching them. They might not be the same level of skill, but they're still talent and it's still entertaining to watch. Or even like, when the Olympics come around, I love watching women's hockey. And granted, like, a woman player for the most part would not be able to skate on the same level as a men's player, but it's still great. It's a great sport and it's super entertaining.
Yeah. And you know what else is helpful is when NBA stars are also participating. Like LeBron was.
It's cool to see them showing some love.
Yeah. And he showed some love with a nice positive tweet. Actually, to both teams, to the Mystics and to the Storm. And so, you know what? And the coach got a little teary-eyed last night, talking about how hard.
What about you, man? Stewie and everything? And
I did have a little tear in my eye watching the highlights.
I'm glad to see that.
Such a big fan this year.
So we'll see you on Sunday at the Victory Parade, huh?
Oh, man, Sunday, huh? Yeah, I'll probably be watching the Mariners game. I couldn't say the Hawks game because they're playing Monday night, so I don't have that excuse.
Yeah. One person said the Mariners are so bad, I actually turned the game off and switched to the Storm game. That's bad.
Yeah, not disparaging the Storm, but the Mariners, it's disappointing because they were so good for so long this season.
Maybe we need to shorten the season for the Mariners.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, go like maybe a 50-game season.
Yeah, really. We'd be the champs. We'd be amazing. So disappointing because, you go the whole, since April, you've been following it. So anybody who's a true Mariners fan, I really know your pain because you thought maybe you had no expectations and all of a sudden they're doing well and then they gave you some expectations by June and then all of a sudden July they hurt you again.
And they're not even the guys that are the closest to potentially. I mean, obviously the wild card spot's not anywhere in their reach, but it used to be they were the ones on the outside of the two wild card teams. Now they're not even the first team. Now Tampa Bay has jumped over them.
Yeah, and I've talked about Tampa Bay for the longest time. Tampa Bay has been kicking ass. They have been going in the other direction that the Mariners have, which is really sad. Boy, I'll tell you right now, if you're the New York Yankees, you better watch out for those Tampa Bay Rays because the Yankees lost again. They are only a game in front of the top spot in the wild card. It's insane what's going on. Yeah, I'm telling you, people are collapsing everywhere, Steve.
Left and right.
Left and right, I tell you. All right, anyway, yesterday, Steve, he's still a true champion. Well, he's a champion later in the morning. Earlier in the mornings, I don't know, man. He wasn't even close to getting this one right.
Lisbon is the capital city of which European country?
Germany.
No. France.
Yeah.
No.
Australia.
No.
That's
Australia.
Really Europe, yeah. I'll tell you right now, buddy, you're a champ this time of the morning. You're a champ.
You're just buying into the Revs propaganda, man.
Yeah.
It changes today.
All right, changes today.
Yeah, we'll see.
Portugal was the answer we were looking for. We'll see if it changes today. You have a shot at beating Steve. 206-421-ROCK. Beat Migs at 647.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. If I can't afford to pay my bills, how am I going to afford attorneys and bankruptcy fees?
One of the things people ask me all the time as a bankruptcy lawyer is that how am I going to pay all these fees and costs because I'm here because I can't afford to pay my bills. And of course we understand that. I mean, being in the bankruptcy field. But one of the things to remember is that if you decide, once you make the decision to file bankruptcy, you can stop paying on all of the creditors that are going to be included in the bankruptcy, and those are the funds that you can use that you have been paying your creditors to pay your attorney fees and court costs to get your case filed. And once your case is filed, you're not going to have most of those payments anymore.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.